Alright, now if you are using Kali Linux like me, you will notice that Python is installed by default. So if I type Python like this, you can see that, yeah, it is Python 2.7. Now, why it is Python 2.7 by default? Well, actually, because it is more compatible with some tools. So actually, they are still using Python 2, but this doesn't mean that it is Python 2 actually. So if I type Python 3 like this, you can see that it is Python 3.8, which is the latest version for Python 3. So everything is working correctly. So here we opened the interpreter. So if I type quit like this, we exited from that. So this is Python. Now you may ask me how to install Python if you are using Linux, another Linux not installed by default, for example, or Windows or Mac. Well, actually just go to your browser. So from here I want to Firefox, and from here just type Python, download Python, it doesn't matter. And as simple as that, go to their official documentation page or to their official page, and here you can just download it as is. Okay, so you are currently downloading the interpreter. Now, what is the interpreter and what is the compiler and so on? Well, I will not go into low level details about the interpreter, the difference between them and the compiler and so on. No, actually you can read about it, but I recommend you to read about it actually. But the interpreter, simply and briefly, it is just the program or utility that is responsible to translate your code, the things that you write on the editor, to translate it so the machine can understand it. Okay, now this is just a simple explanation. You can read more, and I recommend you to do that. Now here, if you are using Windows, Linux, Mac OS, just download it. Okay, download the interpreter. Next step. Nothing important. Okay, nothing big deal. All right. Okay, now this is the first thing, which is the interpreter. Okay, now if you want to write your code, well, actually there are a lot of text editors, including the Vim actually, and to be honest, Vim is for the genius people. Anyway, now actually it's good and it's better to use either Sublime or Visual Code Studio. Well, if you have a specific or a preferred text editor, it's okay, you can use it, no big deal. Okay, so here actually I want to install Visual Studio Code. So go to Google Visual Studio Code and download from here. And yeah, you can see it is Linux, and yeah, it is Debian, which means Debian, because Kali Linux actually is the upstream for it is Debian, so it is Debian based. So yeah, let's download it and let's save it. Now let's wait until it is saved. When it is complete, just go to where it is. Actually, I have it on download, and use this command sudo. For that, let's clear the screen. Yeah, so like this, sudo d package, which is the Debian package. Okay, -i, which means install, or -i, which means install this package, and I will name it, which is the thing I downloaded, which is code and blah blah blah. And by the way, I'm using 64 architecture. Now depends on the architecture you have. Okay, now let's wait a little bit until it is installed. Yeah, everything is working correctly. Now from here, type Visual Studio Code, and you can see now we have it here. All right, so where it goes, yeah, here it is. Okay, so simple. All right, now actually in this course we will use Kali Linux, and we will use Python 3, and we will use Visual Studio Code. Now what you prefer, it's up to you actually, and everything will work. Okay, so you prefer Sublime, you prefer some IDEs. Okay, so yeah, it will work, no problem. Okay, but in this course we are using these. All right, now there are one last thing actually I want to mention, which is IDEs. Well, actually, my personal opinion, I don't prefer IDEs at all. Okay, so we have this PyCharm, and actually it's very popular IDE for Python. So you can see here, you can just download it from the JetBrains.com, the official website for them. Well, actually, the thing is why I don't prefer IDEs. Well, after all, you are hackers, right? You are a hacker. You need to know how the things work in a low level details. All right. So by using the interpreter, GCC, using the compiler, using the Vim editor. Actually, by the way, Vim editor is better in our case because after all we are breaching into the systems. We are using terminals. So you will not find Sublime there, right? You are using you must learn how to use Vim actually. But because we are just learning the Python here, okay, so it doesn't matter. So we will go with Visual Code Studio because it is highlighted with syntax, better formation. You know, it is friendly actually. You can see now here. Actually, you can just download the PyCharm. Okay, and we have the full-fledged professional or the free community, and either way they are good. Okay, of course the professional version is does have more features, blah blah blah, and so on. Okay, all right. But in my case here, I will not use it. I will use Visual Code Studio. All right. Now I will see you in the next lecture where we will start learning the first Hello World program in Python. Now don't worry. We will learn everything in details, okay? So we will start from the Hello World simple program until we reach to the level so we can be able to write our own ethical hacking tools, port scanner, backdoor, login, directory, brute forcing, and actually a lot of things. So yeah, just keep with me. Let's start step by step. And if you feel you are good in Python, you can skip some of the lectures. It's okay, no problem, no big deal. But it's better to keep with me. Okay, thanks for watching. I will see you in the next lecture.